Let's get it.
Honestly, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's about the complacency. Honestly, I know that players. I know how we run. I know, how we behave was extraordinary. So I had the feeling if we maintain that level, we will win the Premier League. We will win it again. So he knows that how difficult it is. Otherwise, Gary Neville have won 4 Premier Leagues in the best period of Man United. He didn't do it. But maybe they have more injuries. But not even him, nor even Jamie Carragher. Of course, we didn't once. But Michael Richard, and all that, and no one 4 Premier Leagues in a row. So when that happened, never ever, no team in England. So when that's happened, it's because normally you have more chance to don't happen than happen. No, because travel, just one, no, the second team happened. It's so difficult to do again and again and again and again and again.
You just aren't on this level, Gary Neville. You daft, jealous Bellin. The sun has fully set on Manchester United, and you didn't like how Ratatouille humbled y'all, telling you to drop expectations. Humble yourself. Does the thought of Manchester City being able to do something that you all never did, your beautiful Saf failed to do? I mean, to be fair, they did play second. They did lose by 1 point in the 2019 or 2009-2010 season. So good for them. But just tired of the sickos. I'm tired of these losers making all the stuff. I called the media miserable, and I said this is why Pep calls the media miserable, and someone was like, when has Pep said that? And it was like, he never said the word miserable exactly, but do you hear the way that he talks to him? He did say his life is better than theirs. I don't know.
After come from, maybe they accuse us of complacency because they felt this complacency in the first season to win the Premier. Maybe they felt it. This team so far, I don't know, tomorrow, Sunday, I don't know, next games, I don't know. But now, no chance. How we behave against the young boys, behave against the Red Star. And now you have to be humble enough to, against them, being Champions League winner, behave in that way. And I like it. I'm in love with my team. Many years, and still I am.
There's levels to this baby. We're making art over here. Capitalize that.
The most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it. You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission. And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone. I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So,
Don't do it. And hey, welcome to episode 96. Oh, we creeping so close to 100. Episode 96 of Shades of Blue.
Niggas debating my numero, not the 3, not the 2 on the UNO.
We are the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here. Capitalize the A. I am Crunk Chocolate, and the whole family is here. Hi, all of you. Tom Bomb, Lando, Tarek, Sharpie. How's it going, show bros?
Going good.
So, can I start real quick?
Please.
This is not planned. We have not talked about this, even though we talked pre-show. I want everybody now to look up albums from 1996, and at the end of the show, I want you to give your pick of your favorite album from that year. And I only thought of it, I'm like, wow, we're about to hit 100 episodes. We know the late 90s gave us some incredible music. I think we got time to look forward, give ourselves an hour, and plus to figure out your favorite album from 96. And we can keep this going the next few episodes until we get to 99. And then
God, I love this.
You are
I absolutely love this, Charlie. What a great what the fuck did you just put on me like that? We didn't say anything, no hints or anything about this creative genius idea that you had pre-show. You just dropped this bomb on me. I was excited about what we were about to talk about, but now here I am. This list is incredible. I don't know.
it's a ridiculous music. It's a crazy year music. Yeah.
It's such a
good luck picking
wonderful
one.
year.
We might have time to do top 3, but just something to throw in at the end of the episode for those that want to listen and, get our musical takes. Maybe make a little fire playlist to you from Shades of Blue, Big vibes.
Hey. Before we get into anything at all, what I need you to do right now is, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us, show some love, leave a comment on what you thought of the episode. If you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, any of those streaming services that allows you to rate, we need that 5-star rating immediately, please and thank you. Please leave a review also if you have a moment. You're listening, so I'm sure your phone's away. So there's time. I understand that, but if you get to it and you can leave a review, that's appreciative. Thank you. Another amazing week of shows we have for you. Monday, today, when you're listening tonight, I will be having on Neff. I'll mention more of him later when we talk about Real Madrid, but he will be on to be our Real Madrid eye for talking the match preview. And then on the 10th, a couple of days later, for Luton Town, we're having The Town, which is a Luton Town podcast. We're having them on. I'm super excited. We weren't able to link up the last time, so this is second time coming. The buildup is there. They seem like really dope people, and I'm really interested to find out the important things. Should there be beef? Was my anger towards them warranted? I need to figure that out. Obviously, I've squashed the beef with them. I understood the history. It's in the past. I should have moved on, and I apologize for how I first reacted when they got promoted. So growth. But I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with them. Then Thursday night lit stream. Amazing guests. I honestly don't remember them, but by the time we get to the end of it, I can look that up, just like the albums that dropped in 1996. I got time to let you all know. But we have an amazing show for you today. We got a lot to review, a lot to preview, and dig into. 2 Premier League wins last week. Home against Aston Villa, away against Crystal Palace. And then the marathon continues with key fixtures this week that we will break down and give our score predictions. Champions League first leg action at the Santiago Bernabeu against Los Negros, Real Madrid. Looking ahead. Shout out to Sharpie for that.
It just kills me every time you do it, because the truth is, if you were to put it that way, it's just so oxymoron when you say it in Spanish. Los blancos de los negros.
Los negros en blanco. Los negros en blanco.
There we go.
Right,
That's
but
actually what I was going to say.
automatically to the fact of the los blancos, los blancoretos. That's what they are. But we're throwing in this add-in. It's just so perfect. You know what? You're right, Charlie. You're right. The Spanish language is completely adjust when we just throw los negros. just throw in los negros.
We broke Lando. You just fine, fuck it, whatever.
I'm with it. I am open to Charlie's mentality in a lot more ways. I'm sure we're going to talk about the other one that was in the Slack chat later on, but I'm just all in on the Charlie mentality right now. I'm bought in.
Oh man. Yes, the match against them and Saturday's home match against the Rob Edwards Football Club, aka Luton Town. And we'll finish the episode with shock, awe, and applause. Shoot, let's get into it, shall we? The treble winners, reigning Premier League champions. Welcome Aston Villa to the Etihad. Ever since Villa's home win against us, I've had this match just marked on my calendar. I could just, but this was Aston Villa's chance to get their first league double against Manchester City since 1963. No gracias. Starting 11 of Ortega, Vardiol, Akanji, Diaz, Lewis, Rodri, Silva, Daku, Foden, Grealish, and Alvarez up top. Rotation was expected. Lando, we will start with you, my friend, because you asked, nay, you pleaded last episode to Pep. Russ Kevin, please. Your words were heard, my child. Did you rejoice at first glance at the starting 11, or were your butt cheeks still clenched?
Butt cheeks always clenched, coming off the situation in regards to the draw with Arsenal and going into dealing with this team that obviously, as you well noted, had a victory against us. I was happy that there was no Kevin because there was Philip, Walter, Foden. So the lineup was A-okay with me. Now you're right, Crunk. I did ask for a Kevin De Bruyne rest. And I asked for, in fact, 2 days of rest, 2 games of rest. I did not get the other one, but I'm kind of thankful, and that's why I am here and Pep is there because that was dumb of me, and I was so wrong, and I couldn't be happier that I was wrong. But in regards to the Villa game, I was cool, man. I was cool about the lineup. I felt good. Felt we had quality out there. I felt Hooli was going to perform. I was okay with it. I'm curious though, because I'm always curious to get Tarek's breakdown on the lineup. What'd you think, T?
I mean, it's one of those things where I think we expected rotation, so we got it because we knew what was coming with the Champions League match. So from my perspective, I think it probably was about right. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. I thought it was, we knew we were going to get rotation. We got it, you know, so I was good with it. Yeah.
I think for me, the best thing about this lineup was like finally being able to see Daku and Grealish start at the same time and not
Seriously.
and not necessarily in the same position. Like it was just you realize that you actually need two actual wingers out there. And even though like they do kind of like to play more in the half spaces, more inside, like Pep's been accommodating that with by using the fullbacks and pushing them up higher, letting them operate in those spaces. So just being able to see what they had there on the wings, I was grateful for just to be able to see them both on the team sheet.
For me, I was really surprised yet excited that I was getting a rest. I knew the rest would come between one of the two matches. I just didn't know which one. And so for it to happen midweek, I was thinking like, okay, Pep, you see it as, hey, get a rest early. So that way, once you get in the flow of every 3 days, you're just in that flow. And that's really what it is. Like, we know it's going to happen. It's every April. It doesn't change between April and May. So you get a break, and now we go off to the races. So I'm happy that Holland got that break. Was excited to see Lewis get a start. I love Enrico's out there because he's really good. I feel like he's always like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like there's not a game because he wouldn't play if he wasn't. Pep is not going to start you unless he can trust you. And so for him to continue to get time this late in the season, this isn't the first or whatever. Like this is a real match. Like we need 3 points. And you say, hey, go out there, deputize Kyle Walker as he's recovering, and we trust you. That's a big start for a kid.
And it's good to know because Pep has just kept being like, I don't know how long Walker's going to be out. Same with Ake. I don't know. That's his answer to everything. I don't know. At least Ederson, he's training. He couldn't. So, but everybody else, he's just like, I don't know. I don't know. They don't tell me because I don't care. And that's basically his attitude about it. Huh? Oh, ball kicks off. Aston Villa get their first chance with the ball running up the pitch, and they earn a corner pretty quickly in the match. Nothing comes from it, luckily. But when City are in possession, the first thing that really pops up to me is Daku. He's playing on the right, which is his natural position everywhere else. However, early in his City career, he struggled on the right. Against Villa, he appeared comfortable. Early, knowing what to do, where to be, when to attack, or pause, recycle. Villa were afraid of his pace, you could tell. It was like Daku, he was hustling back, supporting defensively. Like, oh, you just love it. Speaking of that, City's first goal, in a way, begins and ends with Daku. 9th minute. Grealish is in the box with the ball. He tries to flick it to a cutting Rodri. It doesn't work. Aston Villa attempt to send the ball wide to Zaniolo. But who shuts that shit down? Daku, baby. Muscles Zanny out of the way and recycles the ball backwards to Ortega to Kanji, who dumps the ball forward to Rodri. Rodri up to Foden, who plays the back and forth with young Rico. Got a little disappointed when there was a back pass to Kanji, except for that was the snake coiling before the attack. Kanji pings the ball to Foden, who hits a lovely half turn of his. Zaniolo, Digne, terrified, only had eyes on him. Daku wide outlet. Foden feeds him. Food. Daku shows Walker how to properly feed a teammate for a goal. The pullback cross, low, fizzing, setting. Rodri up to score. Rodri put the ball where the keeper couldn't touch. Rodri loves giving City the go-ahead goal, doesn't he? Thoughts on the goal, general play leading up to the goal? Sharpie, I want to start with you.
So I thought this goal was well. I mean, most of our goals are right. This is well deserved. This isn't against the run of play. We had dominated, I think, the first 10 minutes. And I think the announcer talked about Daku being on his strong foot, right? Like him being able to, it's easier to pass when you're on your strong foot. It's like back in the day, right footed players always play right wing and left footed players on the left. And so having him on his natural foot where Jack's cutting in lets both of them do what they do best. And so I think you saw that. I think the finish by Rodri is beautiful. That's not a defensive mid finish. That is a striker. That's an attacking mid. That's a 10 finish to go top bins like that at a really tight angle. Know how to get the ball up, but not sky it. Most people sky that.
Mm-hmm.
It happens every game. So to just knock it in and get us that early goal, which we needed after the Arsenal match, I think that was really awesome.
Yeah. Derek?
No, I mean, I think he pretty much captures it. I mean, again, well worked, well deserved. Doku in the middle of it. So again, it's good to see because Doku kind of getting a little bit of not hate, but stick off some folks. And so to see him in with a goal contribution, love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else want to add anything else, or I can keep going?
I think that there was it and I think like this kind of prevails over like the next two matches, especially after the Arsenal match. There was an intricacy to which we played that we didn't see against Arsenal, and I think that this goal is a good, and several others that were scored. Of the 8 this week, let me just go ahead and play that. The 8 this week show that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. City, whenever losing possession, the press was immaculate, swarming the ball, forcing the villains to play a little faster, make a pass out of the character, inevitably giving City the ball back. That was until City scored. The time that Rodri's goal in the 11th minute to Jean Duran's, goodness gracious, spell check messed my thing up, to John's goal in the 20th minute, Aston Villa were looking like the side that beat us earlier in the season, honestly. John Duran's goal was coming. He had an offsides chance earlier. Villa's passing was tightening up. They started making better decisions, and City would have to win the ball deep in their territory. This time, it didn't happen. The goal given away was pathetic from City, in my opinion. And I know that's heavy words, but Alvarez tries to take on 3 players. And then when he loses the ball, he just lies on the floor for a moment. It's a 4-on-4 counter by Aston Villa. Sure, that shouldn't be a problem, but teammates are supposed to be coming in and helping. Rico Lewis jogging. Daku is jogging. I give Daku credit because he's been doing a lot of running because he has to make up extra room because Rico Lewis is playing inside as a midfielder. Bernardo jogging. Grealish jogging. DS got twisted around. And it was just painful to see, honestly. Am I being too hard on them? I mean, what were your thoughts on this goal? Like, how were you feeling?
No, I don't think you're being too hard. I think you're telling the truth. The goal was coming. We had, like you said, after the initial goal by us, then I don't know. I'm not gonna say levels dropped or whatever, but we did not look the same. They picked up. Let's just say, give them credit. They picked up their game, and they were much more aggressive. They were in that moment. They were kind of on top of us, and then again, you could see that it's just a matter of time if we don't get this together. It's just a matter of time they're going to score. And like you said, I had visions of the previous match, and it's like, here we go again. We're better than this team. What are we doing? So when they did get the goal, because I think if I remember correctly, they got one. It was like offsides, maybe. I forget. These kind of all run together, but so it wasn't a surprise when he actually scored. It was okay. We've seen that coming. What are we going to do to respond? In my opinion.
I think my thought was like, there's a saying in American sports, just because of how we do amateur sports at the collegiate level, is the other team's on scholarship too. And I think that was like, oh, Aston Villa's not like, they're not a mid-table team. They're not like a relegation station team. They are fighting for Champions League, and like they are a good team too. And sometimes when like good teams come to your house and that they want to play with you, especially since like they've already got the confidence, like, oh, we beat this team at our house um, earlier this season, like they think that they can play with us. So I thought that was just us, or that them asserting that they are in fact a good team. Like I'm not sure if it was so much like, there probably were things that City could have done to mitigate that goal, but as everyone said, like based off of the run of play, that goal was coming.
For me, it was like you said, Tom. It was like, hey, great team. They got scholarships, and they have talented players even without 2 of their best. Right, their best strikers out. Gins out, bum of the Premier League, top bum in the Premier League. He's out. He gives us hella trouble. But the players that filled in, they did a job, and they didn't. That's not a goal against the. It's not a random goal. Like, no, they broke us down. All I could say was fair play. Now, did I think they would get a second after that? No. I thought, like, okay, we're not going to get a clean sheet. We know it. So let's just make this the only goal that we concede, and let's go score one more and win. That's all I thought. All we need one more goal to win, and we got 70 minutes to do it. So, hey, that's all that matters.
I have unfortunately have to admit that I have grown a bit numb to the first shot on goal give up.
Same.
And it's to the point to where I'm like, T, all right, what are we gonna do in respond? But I would really like to have a shutdown defense kind of similar to that late run that we had last year. And I think that's gotta develop. But I don't know. I'm trying to buy in. What's the golden rule, Charlie, at this point? Fuck a clean sheet. Is that where we are at this point?
Fuck a clean sheet.
Fuck a clean
Overrated.
sheet. And I'm all in. And I think that's the numbness that's on this first goal, first shot, but Duran, huh? It hurt because the play was good. I have to acknowledge it. It was really good.
All right. Episode 96. Leap a clean sheet.
But is that really because we don't care, or because we just agreed and acknowledged that they just don't have it in them to keep a clean sheet consistently?
Tarek,
I'm
why
just
are you
saying.
digging into this? What are we doing?
I'm just saying.
No,
got a
he's not.
point.
He's not wrong. He's not
we
wrong. He's not
genuinely
wrong.
don't, we genuinely aren't like, well, maybe you all are genuinely like, I really don't care if we keep a clean sheet. And no, we don't care if we keep a clean sheet if we win 3-1, or if we win 4-1. Of course, nobody cares about that one goal. But with, what is it, 8 games left, 7 games left, 7 games left the rest of the season. I think in order to win, if that's what we're going to do, if we're going to win it all, we're going to have to be able to keep a clean sheet.
Yes, it's
Because I don't think we're going to be
self-preservation.
able to have to just outscore everybody consistently. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh, I was saying yes. I have finally understood Sharpie's mindset. Sharpie, he's the master Jedi over here, so he's probably the one who believes it. Me, currently, I'm faking it till I make it. Like, I am just, this is me just like coming to that side just for understanding and just to make peace with it at the moment. And maybe I'll get
So I
there.
think my rationalization is this: it's a math game, right? If we concede a goal in the first 20 minutes, you're not going to have enough possession to probably nick a second. So if we get it away, we usually don't give up a second. This team has also not lost since Aston Villa in the Premier League, right? Like, we've gone literally months without a Premier League loss. The time we got a clean sheet. What was it? A draw, because they didn't want to play. So it's just like, if teams are scoring, that means they want to play. That means they have confidence. That means they're like, we're going to get chances, which we always do. And I'm betting on us to score 2 goals and the other clubs only score 1. That's all I'm doing. Like, do I want to see a clean sheet? Beautiful. Yes, they're great. It was a great run last year. But that's why last year is last year. This is not the same, for whatever reason. It is not the same solidity. I would love it, but I'm going to go with 2-1 every day, and because that's probably what we're going to do. So, yeah.
I rationalize it with just simply thinking in my head it's unsustainable to be able to keep a superior level of defense. It's easier to keep a superior level of offense, I think, because of the Pep creativity and the different things that you can do. I think it's a lot harder to keep that level of defensive, again, playing honest ball, not terrorism ball with fucking parking the bus. So if we're taking tactics away, I think it's easier to be a little bit more offensive. So I rationalize it with saying it's unsustainable for us to keep having great defensive ways, because Ruben Diaz apparently forgets to fucking mark a player running in, and people, can't walk and chew gum at the same time all of a sudden. Shit's just messed up all of in weird times. So Charlie's right. I'm all in. Fuck a clean sheet.
And I think that the most important part about all of that is, like, yes, goal differential is going to matter at some point. And to Lando's point, because we are scoring so many goals now, like, you're going to make that up. So, like, even like, and I think Charlie's made this point before, like, a 4-1 victory is still the same as a 3-0 victory. Like, the goal differential is still the same. So
Absolutely.
as
But
long as
my
as
point,
long as your pace is that, you should be okay.
yeah. And my point is, the games where the other team bunkers in like Arsenal did and just play for the draw. And then we have the ability, we have this innate ability to give up a counterattacking goal. So if they're just playing to keep it tight and we give up counterattacking goals, then we have a recipe for disaster to a certain extent. Now, again, um, I'm hoping, praying, fingers crossed, all that good stuff for wins every week, every match. But I think it has to be built on a solid defense. Whether that ends up with a clean sheet or not is neither here nor there. It's about being able to be defensively solid, and I don't think we've consistently shown that. Unfortunately. And so I think there's still a need to be a little bit better on that side. Of course, if the other team doesn't have the ball, then what does it matter? Because we
For
just
sure.
keep the ball 75, 80% of the match. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
because I don't think that we're going to catch Arsenal on a goal difference. It's just not
No.
going to happen.
No, not at all. City, they do get their shit together. The crowd urging the players on. Daku dancing and distributing on the right. If Grealish and Daku can become a consistent wing pairing, that's how we win. Walker, he can focus on doing what he does best, defending. On the off chance Walker does overlap to cross with Daku, there's a defender there. He has a tough choice to make. The ref, after the Aston Villa goal, there was like a 15-minute stretch where the ref just kind of took the time off. He just turned his brain off the cards. He lost them, forgot he had them. Doku and Digny hurting. Doku had Digny hurting. It just all he really could do was foul. And by the end of the match, that was all the entire team was trying to do, was just foul. And the ref really didn't see it in a way that it was harmful, I guess, because there were a couple of tackles. Grealish, he fouled Douglas Luiz and then got a yellow for his words at the ref. It was crazy because Douglas Luiz, he did sell it, and like good on him. It's amazing that he has the dark magic in him. Didn't know. Actually, I didn't know. He's very much a dark magic dude. But that's what I would have liked to have him on the squad. Every team kind of needs that player. But the ref, I hate him. But it's kind of been a consistent storyline to the season so far, and it is what it is. But when I thought all hope was lost, worried what sort of momentum shift could come if Villa made it to the half tide, Douglas Luiz, tired of chasing shadows, those precise, quick passes had him feeling dumb. So he took out Foden, giving City a free kick in wonderful position. Foden takes the free kick. Zaniolo moving out of the way of the ball. Oh, a little coward. Because basically, if he stays still, Foden shot bounces off of him. We don't know if we score, but hey, scaredy cat. Shout out to you. Bill continues to shine in this midfield position. Second half ends 2-1. Let's take this time to discuss the second goal and or thoughts on a tight first half of football. Lando?
Can I just give a little bit of praise for Julian Alvarez to go ahead and give the nod to Phil Foden to say okay and take it, in which Phil acknowledged post game as well. I know the young kid has had a great start to a career and he's getting a lot of shit this year for the amount of minutes that he's playing, and rightfully so. He was having poor performances, but sometimes it's decision to not necessarily take the shot or be the passer, and the heads up play to say, yeah, I love it. I love it. So we're ragging Zanola for play. It's similar to the shot a few years ago that Mahrez had in the Champions League, right? Kind of went through and the line kind of folded a bit and kind of was scared of the shot. So I loved it. I loved the Philip Walter Foden sighting, 9.7 rating according to Foot Mob. Diaby with a 6.5, boys. He didn't show up. That was kind of surprising. I think it helped us a bit. What'd you think, Charlie?
I'll say that also on One Football, Phil got a perfect 10 for this match. They just say, hey, he did it all. But with that goal, yes, Faisal Amar is the first thing that came to my mind. And I think because he's left-footed, my mind instantly goes to a left footer. So anytime I see him shoot, I think of Mahrez with those outside the shot. He's actually leading the Premier League in goals scored outside the box, which is crazy. And yeah, Phil Walter Foden's that guy. But yeah, I mean, hey, cowards, don't stop goals. And Zaniolo did all your countrymen wrong. Marquisio, Buffon, Pirlo, everybody, all the Italians are just so disappointed in you because you let the whole country down. They don't raise you to be that way. I watch Serie A. It's a very tough league. You come over here and you're a coward. So you get what you deserve. And that canceled out Duran's goal. So game on.
Especially when you give up a coward goal right before the half, like you know that you're not going to win, like because you can't get that taste out of your mouth. Like that's like a coward goal, like and like also a I'm tired goal. Like your host. Like that was the moment. It was like, okay, we're gonna win this match because there's no way, based off of timing, that they're gonna be able to do anything.
I kind of want to go back now and see if he made a weird like scaredy face while the shot was coming in. Just imagine him like,
It was kind of like a ooh, like, and I think he realized once he jumped, he saw immediately that the ball was coming to him, and that's why he tried to lift his leg to clip the ball, but it just went right through him. It was, I don't know if that was something that they knew that he just didn't enjoy getting hit by free kicks. I don't know. It seemed too easy. Yeah, it's great.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right?
1,000%.
I think this was a case where that should not have been a goal. And then we look back on it and say, well, should Phil have let Alvarez take it since he's at least scored a couple this season? The fact that he scores off of it says that conversation goes away, and we're all just like, oh, this is great, this is wonderful. But to your question, maybe they saw that he always turns, and so just put it at his face. He's going to turn anyway. But I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah, right.
Let's give Phil the benefit of the doubt. Let's give the team the benefit of the doubt and say that they knew that was going to happen. Um, but
Yeah.
it is the timing of it right before the break. All of it worked out perfect. You couldn't have asked for more. I just, I'm going to choose to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it was all planned. They knew exactly what was happening, even if I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah, I want that. Second half begins, and Daku Mans was getting his shots off. He said, assisting is nice, but I want goals. In the 54th minute, though, Aston Villa, they had a great counter where Ortega saved a shot from Luis and then a thundering header from the following corner. But it was all a story about Philip Walter Foden, filthy Philip Walter Foden, with his 3 goals. Shattering, with City's 3rd goal, shattering that iron will Unai had instilled on his squad. The football leading up to that goal was wondrous, really, because Ortega, he unleashes a counter. Daku tries on the right, doesn't work. So then they swing it over to Grealish. That doesn't work either. Rodri says, don't worry, y'all. I got this. Dribbles around Diaby, freezing every Villa player. He moves forward into the space, drawing in 3 more Villa players before releasing a ball to Philip Walter Foden. His shot kisses the crossbar before going in. City 3, Aston Villa 1. Question for my show bros. There's 20 minutes left to work on goal difference. Or do you want key players off to rest for another match in 3 days? How were you feeling in that moment?
I'll say, like, I thought with the rotation Pep had, that he was already planning on, like, most people, like, basically, like, whoever didn't start against Folk, like, you're going to have rotation both matches, right? So I was like, hey, see this out, keep the continuity, at least at the 70th minute, right after this goal. As we get later on in the match, of course, like 85th, whatever, pull people out. But yeah, I was like, hey, let's keep going because we're in a good flow.
For me, once Phil got his hat trick, I was good with taking him off because I think Phil is going to be instrumental and vital to our success for the rest of the way. And so I think you also have to keep him healthy. So once the last goal goes in, makes it 4-1, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, bring him off. And then make whatever other subs we need to make. One, to keep people healthy, and then also on the flip side of that, to get some additional game time for the Oscar Bobs of the world. So yeah.
Okay. All right. City's 4th. An angry goal from Filthy Phil. All Aston Villa could do was go kick at angles and run in circles. It was City patiently moving the ball when Rodri finds Phil, who was dribbling past a defender, and he gets knocked down. No foul was given. Lewis and Alvarez, they closed down on the defender, or well, I guess now on the Aston Villa player with the ball, and the ball just bounces right to Phil. He got up so fast. He truly just like he went from being angry to realizing the ref wasn't giving him the call to getting up, getting the ball, taking a dribble, and just launching it, thumping it to the upper right. And honestly, he hit it straight, but when he slipped, it added some like verve to it. So it went and it just curved to the right. It was so cool. It was a gorgeous shot. Woo! Uh, Foden's third Premier League hat trick. Only 4 players have more hat tricks before turning 24 in the Premier League history. Erling Haaland with 5, Harry Kane with 6. Then tied at the top are Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler with 7. Show Bros, here's the part where you say positive things about the goal and the goal scorer. What do you say, Sharpie?
I just say you listed a bunch of strikers. Phil Foden's not a striker. He's a midfielder who is being forced to play winger, who's really a great midfielder. He's a 10. Like we know, he's an 8 or a 10. Like he's not a winger, and that's okay. He's not supposed to be. So like for him to do that and be in the wrong position, or not at his best position, is crazy. Because we know one of those hat tricks came from him playing out wide against Man U, right? Like he can really do anything. And I thought of Bruno Fernandes when that happened, because if you watch The Rat today, you just saw a lot of whining and complaining. But if you watch Phil, he didn't have time because we are drilled at City to go get the ball back. So you don't complain. Well, no, with balls in our third, go get it back. It doesn't matter if they don't call it. And him, even though he didn't make it happen, he was ready to receive it, right? He didn't pout. He wasn't throwing his hands up, looking around. Next play, next moment, next action. And he converted, man. It's a beautiful strike. What about you, Terry? How you feeling?
I'm with you 100%. He is not a striker, and to your point, all of those names on that list were strikers. But I also will give credit to Pep for playing him for the better part of a season and a half in that false 9 role, where you get to be the tip of the spear to a certain extent. And again, you're playing, you're not playing like a traditional striker, but you help hone the mindset that, hey, when you get in dangerous positions, go get goals, go be deadly, go be a goal scorer. And so the thing about Phil is he is super versatile, and it doesn't really matter where you line him up. If you get him on the ball in space, he can be deadly. And so on one hand, it's not surprising because I think the kid is just insanely talented and gifted. But when you think about the names that he's in that list with, it's just wild to think, because you wouldn't expect him to be there playing the position that he plays.
Two abstract thoughts about Phil Foden. One really, really elementary, vanilla, kind of any fan can kind of understand it. And then the second one's a little bit more scary and thought process long term. The first thought I have is Philip Foden is getting to the part where it's like he's got that Kevin De Bruyne type level, in the sense that when he's shooting it outside the box, I feel like it's going in now. He's getting that type of, for me, that vibe to where I have trust in that long shot in him. If he's pulling, it's because he thinks it can get there. Even the tough ones in the box. Atletico Madrid last year, the second goal that he had was beautiful because he had a little pump fake, then went back left and brought it back in. So that's just from a real elementary level of watching him. That's where I feel from a City fan perspective. We can really honestly say that. The second thought that I have is, how scary is it for the future watching how seasoned and poised he is at such a young age. To have the ability to know getting knocked down, it's not enough. I'm not getting this call. Thank you, Darren England. I had to look up who the hell the ref was for that match. Thank you for absolutely allowing this fortitude to be instilled in our players, because when you have matches like this, you need that type of tenacity. And for Phil to show that at a young age, it shows it's leaps and bounds and miles for Oscar Bob's and Rico Lewis's, because they're paving the way and they're in the same age group. That is just wild to me. So the future's very, very bright, and God, Foden's going to be a cornerstone to it. I love it.
So I think that this particular match cemented that we have at least 3 players on this team that in any one match can just say, "Jump on my back, boys. We not losing today." Like, and you have that with Phil, you have that with KDB, and you have that with Erling Haaland. So you have 3 different players who and will do their jump on my back in very, very different ways, but still be effective. I think that this was just, to me, it was just a solidification that, like, oh, we got 3 of them dudes. Like, I like, y'all might got 1, maybe 2, but we got 3. So that I think that's what this match told me.
And let's do this right quick, right? We would have at least those 3 and probably more on the team of the season at the end of the year. But Kev is probably not going to play enough minutes, right? He
Right.
missed half the season. Like, he wouldn't be there, but we know he has a spot. So you really have 2 of the best midfielders in the league, the best striker in the league. And I'm going to say I would put Akanji up there. I think he's great. I think he's performed at an admirable level. But we have top flight players all across the pitch, right? Bernardo Silva is not going to give you the numbers, but he literally does everything but score goals. Like, it's incredible what he does.
No,
He can do that too, right?
wait,
So
wait. You
he
you
can.
say yeah, you saying that like in Real Madrid, our next opponent is like who? So
Yeah, we know. But I'm saying, like, it's not his
yeah,
number one attribute,
correct,
right? He's not a
correct.
goal scorer by trade, but he will. He'll throw it out there. So it's like, we are so spoiled. And this is what people know who really watch football. When you talk about, is City out of the race or they in the race? Can they win another? They can do anything they want because they have the players to do it. And if you have 3 guys that you're depending on, you're not just like, oh my God, Mbappe, go score for us. What are we going to do? Oh my God. Back when it was Messi at Barca, like, what are we going to do? It's like, no. We got hitters all across the board. You got to, like, hope that we are just off, or you just sit back and play 10 behind the ball, whatever. However you want to do it.
So no more goals in the match. Pep does make 4 subs: Rodri, Bernardo, Daku, Foden off for Nunes, Kovacic, Bob, and Gomez. Bob and Gomez, Short King, stand up. Anything in particular happen in the rest of the match that you all want to discuss?
The aggressiveness in Matthias Nunes. Took a shot outside the box in a transitional type play. That's the shit I want to see in those types of players. Crunk, you gave us a dilemma. You proposed to us one or the other. Do we take the star players off or do we keep attacking? I fucking say to you both proudly, Crunk, let the subs come in and provide that continuing attack. Mentality doesn't change with these players. You saw it with Mateo less, but I like those whipped passes coming in. I want to note Matthias Nunes and the absolute productivity and the aggressiveness that I saw. Mind you, he only came in the 75th, so it was limited, but that's the kind of shit I want to see with a player like that coming in. He's got something to prove. He's trying to make his mark. It was aggressive. I liked it. No one wants a shout out FA Cup, man? No one?
I mean, his shot attempt was
Hold up for
nice.
the
I really thought he was going to score. I did.
I did too.
I
I was
was
very excited for him. I was.
I was in the middle of my chiropractic adjustment, and I was like, oh my God, Gomez is coming on. Like, I was so excited. I did it internally. I didn't say it out loud because Dr. Flores would have been like, what are you talking about? But while she's going crazy on my back, I'm watching the match on the floor, and I was like, man, my guy is coming on. Like, 2-1 on the pitch in his natural position as a winger. It just brought me so much joy. I love that man so much.
Dr. Flores didn't have any questions about you laying on the floor watching the match?
No. The phone was, like, if you go to the chiropractor, you lay on the table, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, through the little part where your head is. Like my phone was literally on the floor. You couldn't see what I was doing, but I had like an AirPod in so I could like hear the commentary. So yeah, that's how I was watching the match. It was beautiful. Great
That's
game.
hilarious.
That's this interesting dynamic. I feel like I should be having a conversation with my chiropractor while we're getting an adjustment.
No, bro. Do your thing and leave me alone. At least when City.
Wow, see, this is the nuances, the shades of blue that you don't get. Just a natural correspondence between you and your doctor. This is good to know.
Yes, normally, but if City are playing, leave me alone.
He's like, damn, my knowing about my medical history and all of that, being my own best medical advocate. City's playing right now. Whatever you about to do,
Yeah.
I'm
Half
cool.
is coming up. Give me like 5 minutes, and you can talk to me for like 12 minutes. We got this. But right now, leave me alone.
I love this.
A statistic I found interesting from Aston Villa in this match. Their pass accuracy in their own half was 90.2%, which is great. For example, City's was 93.7%. Villa's pass accuracy in the opposition half dropped to 73.2%. To break City down, stringing together multiple passes is key. City's pass accuracy in the opposition's half was 90%. Slice and dice. Shake and bake, baby. Okay. Crystal Palace. Pep's actions were questioned by the media. How Pep beelined to Grealish and started coaching him. Was that the right thing to do in the moment?
Can I ask you about Jack Grealish? After the game, you obviously had a chat with him on the pitch. I just wonder, we've seen you do that sort of thing with players before. What's the thinking behind speaking to a player on the pitch, or obviously with the cameras around, the crowd around, versus waiting for the dressing room?
Yeah, I do it for the cameras, for my ego.
I know you don't do it for the cameras. I'm just asking you what your thinking is, why it's important to get that message in that moment.
I'm the famous person of the team, and I don't recognize, and I need the cameras to my ego go to sleep with incredible satisfaction. So that is the reason why. So always I try to criticize the players there and let them feel that how bad they are, and especially when Erling scores 3 goals, the compliments has to be with me, not with them. That's why I use the cameras to do it there. So my advice next time, don't film us, it will not be a problem.
Pep is on fire. Managers are terrified. Pep is on fire. Managers are terrified. Pep is on one during this pre-match presser. Gave up this gem all on his own.
You know that? It's like, for example, saying, you want to make a dig to Mikel. I don't want to make a dig to Mikel. So it was a little joke. Maybe the people don't get it. So you want to say something to Mikel, I promise you, like it was 1 week ago, we spoke each other. So we're talking. The mind games is play better than the opponents. Mind games is there and defend better and play better. That is. Do you know mind games? When after 10, 15 minutes, you have the ball and chances, the opponent is affected the mind games because you are much better than them. The manager control the emotions of the players before and after? No chance. I came here to use my press conference to mind games to the opponent. To be honest, to be, let's play better than them. Start the game and play better. This is the mind games. The others do.
Stuck his teeth at the end. He's just like, oh, you guys annoy me. New look Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner. Shout out to Eagle Eye Podcast, Rich, for coming on to Breaking Bread and discussing the club. They love the guy. He wants to play football. Doesn't have the squad exactly for it, but we'll get into it. You can see what Crystal Palace were trying to do, especially at the beginning. Who would Pep play, knowing Real's around the corner? Crystal Palace away. It's a tough match. City have kept 1 clean sheet in the last 9 away games against Crystal Palace. Foreshadow. In the 9 games City have played against them, won 5, lost 3, drew once. Starting 11 for Manchester City was Ortega, Vardiol, Diaz, Stones, Lewis, Rodri, Grealish, KDB, Alvarez, Bob, and Haaland is back. Lando, I'll go right back to you, my boy, because you said it earlier. KDB returned to the lineup, and you tried to banish him for 2 matches. Bob, he did get the start. Alvarez over Foden. How were you feeling leading up to the match, and thoughts on the lineup?
I was okay with seeing Kevin and acknowledging that I'm wrong with the blessing that he gave us in the performance. But like T, I was a little bit more like I think T justified the resting for Phil because you know how important he's going to be later on. I would have liked to see Phil in this game because I just wanted to go ahead and have some aggressive, dynamic explosiveness that we just saw. Keep it going, and he's on the younger side, you know. So that was my one little change for my one little sort of problem with it. But I mean, yeah, it was okay. It's City at this point. The lineups are gonna. We saw Rodri, right? Everyone saw Rodri there. Okay, we move.
I woke up a little late, so I didn't see the lineup like well in advance of the match. Um, but I guess when I realized what the lineup was, my concern was the right side. Bob and Rico on that right side. Of course, we know Rico's going to come invert into midfield a little bit, but he's our right-sided defender. Bob is that right-sided winger. Um, I think they're individually they are both super talented, and I have no problem with them both playing at any given point in time. My concern was playing them both at the same time from the beginning. Um, and maybe problem or my concern maybe a little bit too strong, but it was just like looking at the line, I was like, oh, that's interesting. What are we gonna do? But I think from the start, we've seen them both play together end of games when we're up or whatever, but doing it from the start just to see both of them on the pitch together was I'm happy for them, but I'm also admittedly a little nervous too.
I think my thought seeing KDB start was that, oh, he's going to be on the bench when we go to Spain. Like, he's not going to start. Because I don't know, like, to Lando's point, I don't know how you look at Phil's performance against Villa and not start him. And I think we have also seen, like, trying to wedge KDB and Alvarez and Phil into the midfield doesn't work. And like that's not like that's a risk I might be willing to take when we're playing at home, but I'm definitely not taking that risk going on the road. Especially to Spain, like to Real Madrid. So to me, my thought process is that KDB will start on the bench. That doesn't necessarily mean that Julian Alvarez might not have a short leash and just start 45 minutes and then
So
KDB.
you think it's Alvarez over KDB in Spain?
I don't know how Phil and KDB work together. Like we haven't seen it work effectively and efficiently, I don't think. Like not to
Hey,
the
Tom's
way
got some.
not to
Tom's
the
onto
way
something here.
not to the way that Pep wants it, not at least not yet.
Pep's not comfortable with it. There's a quote, and stop me, Crunk, if you got the quote lined up already. Kevin De Bruyne has said this after the match, and he actually said, and people are kind of insinuating that he, meant something by this. The words were, "I don't get why if I can play midfield next to Julian, why I can't do it next to Phil." That's something for the manager to decide. I mean,
I mean, I have Pep on Phil, and he basically says what he needs to work on, while also saying positive things about him. I also have him on Rodri, and he says positive things about him, but also kind of like says something to be like, keep him on the hook, and that's kind of what you got to do. You got to uplift, but you can't uplift too much. You gotta find something to like knock him down a little bit. It was just interesting. And honestly, I mean, we'll get into it because we'll talk about just his greatness in general. But here is Pep on Phil.
He can do whatever he wants. I think he's a really top class player. We know it. So, but still, he's open minded. Has to understand the game. He has to be focusing the things, especially for the tension. Sometimes he's really distract in exactly what you have to do, offensive, defensively. But he has a natural talent, a gift that is special for the pace, for the work ethic is unbelievable, and after have a incredible sense of goal. You have the sense when you had the ball attacking the last line is, oh, it's going to score, it's going to score. You had that feeling, for the dribble, for the shoot, and it's not easy to find it, and that's why it's so special when playing in these central positions.
Defensively, he lacks. He turns his brain off every now and then, and I mean, I don't. You can say the same thing about Alvarez, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's why he's Pep,
I just want to say this. You can say the same thing about Kevin. Like
right?
the biggest elephant in the room is Kevin doesn't have legs like he used to. And so when you think about playing him beside field, the defensive fragility that provides in transition is a
Yes.
huge issue. Because if Alvarez is there or Bernardo, you know you're going to get that work rate beside field. But when it's Kevin, it's like, oh, Kevin's trying to play these passes that actually get us caught out more often because he is so
Yes.
creative. And he might turn over possession more versus somebody else out there. So, like, we'll get to Madrid, but, like, I think that's the thing, the delicate balance, right? Of yes, you want to play them both as eights, but like you said, Tom, you go to Madrid, it's gonna be tough unless you play Kevin as second striker, right, and just leave him up top, which you can do in a 4-4-2 setup, which we do out of possession. But so it's a fun. I mean, it's a great problem to have. I'll say that.
Facts. Ball kicks off. 3 minutes into this match. Tell me stop when you've heard this before. On the first shot at goal, Manchester City go behind 1-0. 11 times this season, Manchester City have given up the first goal in the match. Only in the 2019-2020 season saw more, with 12 games giving up the first goal. As troublesome as this sounds, in the last 6 matches, City have lost the lead. They are 5-1. So, like, not mad about the goal itself because Palace really, they made the most out of the situation. He was pushed wide, 2 City defenders versus Mateta. A great shot was taken by the striker. Even it was also just stupid early in the match. Show bros. What say you? Agree with me? Calm, indifferent about the goal? Or were you angry? Were you frustrated? I mean, I feel like I already know what Taylor's going to say, or Sharpie's going to say. It's rid of the clean sheet, move on.
I
Lando, Crunk, we've embraced Sharpie's mindset. So, yeah, Tom Baum, Tarek, I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
I knew why it happened. It happened because like we didn't have like our most athletic defender was Vardiol in that match, and he was so high up the pitch when we gave the ball away. And by the time that, like, anytime that you're having a striker run on to both Stones and Mateta, or excuse me, Stones and Diaz, like, especially a striker that has pace, like, it's not. It's not going to be great. Like you saw that John Stones like saw that he wasn't going to like be able to, get to the ball on the outside, so he made sure that he like got like positioned himself between the ball and the net as best he could. But that was just, to me, that was just like, oh, there's no athletic defender back there to catch him, and that's why we gave up this particular goal. Like, I was frustrated about it, and I also knew that we were gonna score again. Like, I was just one of those like, oh, I got up real early, and this is gonna be one of those matches. Cool, 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 cool. Let me go get some coffee.
Oh, man. Yeah, Tarek, how'd you feel about it?
I was asleep. So I didn't feel any kind of way. But when I saw it, actually, by the time I got to the game and, with the game on and all that, whatever, we had already tied it up. But um, with 3 minutes into the match, it's one of those things where that sucks, but we got a whole lot of time. We're going to create a bunch of chances. We will likely win this game not going to stress too much about it. It's great to have, to keep the clean sheet because, again, now we had to score 2 goals. We can't just score 1. We got to score 2. And we know we're in a position where we can't drop any points. So it just kind of puts you behind the 8 ball. But happening in the 3rd minute is better than happening, say, in the 63rd minute. 63rd minute, now that other team feels like, well, we can hold on. When they do it in the 3rd minute, they know they can't hold on for 87 more minutes of whatever we're going to put on them. So I don't think I would have been maybe a little angry just because it just sucks to give up a goal, but I would have thought we were going to come back.
I had 2 thoughts that came to mind. First was the homie Brawley, shouts to West Ham,
Yes. Yes.
who told us all the time, it's score too soon. And that's what it was. You can't score in the 3rd minute. It's just, you actually shouldn't do it. You think you want that goal, you don't want that goal. You don't want that 3rd minute goal. 33rd minute, 43rd minute, you don't want a 3rd minute goal. Second thing was, you see the difference in just, again, going back to my whole thing on last season, sheer athleticism. The things you can actually measure, pace, you can measure speed, top speed. Ruben Diaz and John Stone don't have that top speed. Because I will tell you, the goal might still happen, but I know Ake is going to be a little bit further than Diaz was. I know Akanji is going to be further than Diaz was. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and if Kyle Walker's on the pitch, his position, he can make up crazy angles and distances to make shots harder. So again, Mateta still might score, but when you're missing your 3 most athletic defenders, or 3 or 4 most athletic defenders on the pitch at once, you see the hole that it provides. And now again, it was in build up. It was a bad pass. They caught a break. Things happen. It's football. But it's like, I just really appreciate it. I have a lot of gratitude for 6-2 and 5.
9 minutes later, KDB scores one of his angriest goals in a while. Shout out to Stadio Podcast, who confirmed on Twitter that the goal was, in fact, angry. And shout out to Gucci Puma, Jack Grealish, whose footprint was in every goal versus Crystal Palace. I was praising Jack on Twitter, and someone quote tweeted my post, and at first I thought they were just like agreeing with me, and so I like reshared it, and it's like, yeah, cool. And then the second positive Jack post that I had, they quote tweeted me and asked me if I was even watching the game. I was just like, that's weird. I will say though, the account didn't come at me for the rest of the match, because by the end of the match, you really couldn't ignore the Gucci Puma. He was doing his thing. He takes on 2 defenders and lays the ball off to KDB. Yes, it had a weird deflection, but it still gets to him. Everybody knows what he did next. You would need like 3 keepers to stop that. Wow. What was your reaction to that goal, Tom Bomb? Mine was just like stunned silence.
That goal, like, I knew that we were winning the match off of that goal. Because,
Facts.
like, when you score a goal like that, like, I'm one of, like, I don't know, 10 people on the planet that can score this goal in the manner that I did. Once you score a goal like that, um, it makes, like, the belief of the other team, like, starts to wane very, very much. Like, and like we were just talking about, like, oh, let's like score in too early. Let's hang on to this for 87 minutes. Like, nah, this it's not that type of party. So to me, like, that was just like confirmation, like, oh, we're winning. Like, and it's just going to be a matter of like how much we are going to win by.
I spoke to myself. He hit that goal and I spoke to myself. I'm not even joking. He hit the goal. I'm working. Okay. So I want to give you a visual of typing and seeing. Okay. And when I see the goal in my head and out loud, I look back to the laptop and I was like, of course he can fucking play today. Why did you not think he can fucking play today? Why did you not think he can play today? Of course he can play today. I was an absolute, I was lunatic for a second because I was like, we fucking need this guy. We absolutely need this guy. Kevin on a leg and a half is better than what, 85% of the midfielders available out there in the Premier League. I mean, come on. That shot doesn't get put up. Now, can we confirm the deflection? Is that a thing? Can it? Is that valid? I didn't think there was a deflection on that goal. Was there?
Was there a deflection?
I didn't see one.
I thought
I
people
didn't
noted it
see
was
it.
a deflected goal.
I don't know. I didn't catch it, so maybe it was, but I didn't see it. I would have said I thought of FIFA. I thought of R1 Circle. He just
Yeah,
curled the shit out
you
of that
gotta.
ball.
Let's go,
It was
Charlie.
it was perfect, bro. Like it was so beautiful. And I was like, this reminded me of like the shot. I don't know if he hit the same type of goal against Wolverhampton, against Wolves like 2 seasons ago.
The one where he had
Like,
four?
or maybe, yeah. It was some like he's hit that shot before, right? That same one,
Yes,
left side of
yes,
the net, you curl
yes.
it, and the keeper has nothing to do because when the ball lands in the side netting, you just know how good of a shot it is.
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy angle to get it off, and so he's Kevin, he's him. King Kev is back, and I knew like okay, we're in a good place. Like you said, Lindo. Like I don't know how many we're gonna score, but we're gonna win. 3 points is ours for sure.
Let's go. Love it. Talking about this. It's me all pumped up. Let's go. Oh, man. But KDB released Halan for a wonderful opportunity for the robot to give City the lead 1v1 against Dean Henderson. And he lost to Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson.
Not gonna change it if you keep on saying the man's name. Like he did. Like I
It's
mean,
fair.
yes,
It's
yes,
fair.
it
It's
it, it
fair.
it hurts. Like I thought the ball was going in the back
But
of the
did you
net.
know it was Dean Henderson?
I mean, yes, I'm aware that it's goddamn
Okay.
Dean
No, I
Henderson.
did not know
That's
Dean Henderson was playing for Crystal Palace until the match started. I said, "Oh, he's here now." The last I checked, he was at Forest. Like I just, and then with his baseball cap on last season, that's the last time I saw Dean Henderson. And then
It's
to see him today,
baseball cap
He still
last
wears
season.
y'all remember that, right? I'm not
He
making
still,
this
yeah,
up.
he
This
still
really
wears it
happened, guys.
occasionally.
No, I'm with
Occasionally,
you. I'm
Occasionally
with
with
you.
his son. Smart.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a shock. I was like, wow. But this is the difference between Holland and 22-23 versus 23-24.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
22-23, that was a goal. It was almost automatic.
Exactly.
And now it's just for whatever reason, regression to the mean, whatever you want to call it, he misses more of those than he makes. And that, hey, it happens, but would have loved to get that goal. I'll say that.
Dean Henderson would bat 250 for the Cincinnati Reds, wouldn't he?
Oh, for
No?
certain. Oh, for certain. Definitely. Definitely.
I forgot that man had a baseball cap during a soccer game.
Oh,
That's
God.
wild.
Yeah. The sun, it's bright. Gets in his eyes.
Shout out to the OG
Got an
Casey.
astigmatism.
Shout out to the OG Casey Keller who was doing that in MLS.
Yeah. Yaskin, there's an icon on FIFA that rocks one. But I mean, I guess it's a thing. It's just still funny to me.
No, you're not wrong. It's very weird. Let's see. Halan wasn't the only person struggling with lack of efficiency, I should say, which was frustrating. But it was like Alvarez, he missed a couple. Lewis, even Rodri slipping and letting the ball just putter out of bounds. Vardiol was being played like a fiddle by Jordan Ayew, the savvy vet teaching the new kid some things in the Premier League. Really, if Jordan Ayew had a normal scoring gene, because he only scores like the most ridiculous goals ever, but if he was more clinical, I feel like he probably could have scored a couple. Ortega Moreno making the most out of an insane situation. Rodri sent him a back pass with a defender closing in on him. Cruyff turn, shut that down in the moment. Woo! Didn't know he had it in him. But for all y'all whiling saying he's coming after Ederson's job, y'all need to chill. Like, yes, City should pay Ortega whatever he wants to keep him at Manchester, because it would be our luck that wherever he goes, that's going to be the first team we face in the knockout round of the Champions League next year. Like, that's just what would happen. So, first half, it ends 1-1. Crystal Palace should be thrilled how things have went down. Show bros. Thoughts on that frustrating first half from Manchester City?
So I'm gonna take you to task on that. You said Crystal Palace should be thrilled. I felt like, if I'm being honest, we should have been down at the break.
Oh,
I feel like we should have been down. So again, I got on the match late, right? So I acknowledge that. Um, And I didn't really necessarily see Crystal Palace do anything especially well. Um, it was more so just a lot of basically mid performances by our squad, and just a lot of mistakes. Particularly looking at like Rodri, he was uncharacteristically poor in that first half. There were quite a few bad giveaways. He got dispossessed. I forget by who, but it ends up just being a shot off the bar. That could have been a goal by IU, I think it was. Supposed that should have been a goal. Puts it off the bar. Um, he you talked about what Ortega did with the Cruyff turn, but who puts their keeper in that position, right? So again, sometimes mistakes we overlook because they don't hurt us. And in this case, none of these, well, yeah, none of these mistakes ended up turning into goals, so it's easier to overlook. But I didn't think that we actually played very well from the parts that I saw of that second half, or excuse me, of that first half. So I actually genuinely felt, based on what I saw, that they had the better chances. Even if we had more of them, they had the better chances, and we should have been down at the break.
What I will say is Rodri was left all alone in that midfield. The formation was a 4-1-4-1. He had to do a lot. Yes, Rico was supposed to come up in there and help him support and be that outlet ball. We know he can get, I guess, muted by midfields with size and intensity. And I just think there were moments where he was kind of just like all alone. KDB was taking a lot of chances. Alvarez was taking a lot of chances. And we just were losing the ball. There wasn't much recycling back. That's actually why I felt bad for Jack Grealish, because we were like, he was invisible, but we really couldn't get enough consecutive passes in a row to really get Jack Grealish in and moving. And we saw that at the beginning immediately in the second half, though. Sharpie.
I just want to add two thoughts first. As in Tom's point about both sides having scholarships. That young kid, Adam Wharton,
Yeah.
number 20 for Palace, he's a baller. Like he was pausing, he was making things happen. He had composure, had some really good touches. So there's a reason why they were able to get, some of those transitions going. And also you with Rodri, like it was by far his worst game, right? Like let's be real. Like he doesn't do that and he is human. And so it's kind of like when Holland has bad games and misses big chances. Like, oh, Rodri had a bad game. It's like it was a bad half. And all I could say, I think I tweeted, I was like, look, we just need to get to halftime 1-1. If we get to halftime 1-1, we'll be fine. And so, like, right after the IU chance that you talked about, Tarek, I was like, look, we just got to make it, settle, adjust. And yeah, we know how to win, but it's just like, yeah, they caught us. And credit to Crystal Palace. Like, they didn't start Elise, right? So, like, they were missing their guys too. They had Eze, but no Elise. And I love him so much. So I think we definitely were fortunate, Tarek. You're spot on.
And I think I mentioned earlier about having Rico and Oscar Bob both on that right side. And I think it's to your point, Crunk. It's not that they're not talented enough, but they're just a little bit lightweight at the moment. And so if you have a big, strong, aggressive midfield, that they're gonna run over those types of players. And so I think that was what I was concerned about seeing it. But like you said, Charlie, if we can just get to half, not be down, we'll figure the rest out. But I will admittedly, we we're playing in the early morning match, right? The early game. And we know Liverpool and Arsenal are going to play later on in the week or in the weekend. And so we have to put the marker out. So going into the break 1-1, while I thought we would figure it out, it's also like, oh, this is our opportunity. We cannot waste it. And so that was somewhat of a concern at the moment going into half. It was just like, we cannot waste this opportunity. The first chance we get to kind of put some pressure on, we can't drop the ball. So that was my thought going into half.
Hmm. Second half begins, and Vardial is yanked for a kanji.
Do we?
Vardial,
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say, do we think that was tactical or was it more
that's what I
injury?
was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask. What do you think? I mean, he had a yellow, and I mean, we scored immediately in the second half. So part of me thinks that it was both could be true. Maybe it was tactical. Maybe we are gonna need him against Real Madrid. That's like I think so. So I think he just get him out. We're also gonna need him in the Premier League as well. So just let's not take a chance and have him get a red and have to miss future games.
That looked medical to me because like that man came off the pitch and he wasn't looking right. Like I admittedly know he was not performing well. IU kind of had him in his clutches, but that looked more medical to me than it looked tactical.
See, I kind of thought so too, but then the way he came out after the break, he was like he kind of almost like running up to the bleachers. So it's like he doesn't seem to be hurting necessarily. Um, but I think to your point, if there's any little bit of a knock, take him
Mm-hmm.
off because we're gonna need him. And also, hey, he's getting done a little bit, and he's got a yellow card. We can't risk him getting a red for this game or for future games. So let's just go ahead and make the substitution. And we have a talented defender in a kanji that can come on. So maybe it's a mixture of all of the above.
Yeah. Uh, like I said, I thought getting yanked at half would have felt harsh, but then Rico Lewis scores in the 47th minute. Grealish doing Gucci Puma things, shaking up a defender, then sending in a sumptuous cross into the corridor of uncertainty. Crystal Palace couldn't clear the ball and was punished by Rico Lewis, once again putting his shooting boots on. The passion in Lewis's celebrations, it really does kind of give me Vincent Company vibes, like the joy, the emotion. You can tell that he eats, sleeps, and bleeds Manchester City. The lead acquired thanks to young Rico, and I call him Young Rico. I take the O out. It's like Young Jock, Young Rico. That's how it's spelled in my brain. But with that, did you have a feeling that the lead was secure, or did you have a tinge of anxiety, worried Crystal Palace might do another madness? Lando, I'm actually gonna start with you.
Do a mad thing?
Mad thing.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I was not necessarily worried. I think once we started to kind of get the goals coming and the aggressiveness going, I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good with where we were. Um, I just that Ruben Diaz collapse on the second goal. I mean, a reminder when I called him the best defender in the world, this was early before the 3-3 debaclement against Chelsea, and this was coming off the high of a fucking treble. I am like,
It's okay. You're new here. You weren't quite.
dude,
You didn't know our how we felt about Diaz. You know, some growing pain.
God, that was like 101 of defending and tracking back. He literally lost him. And it's just those moments
You know what's funny?
hurt.
We just got through talking about Rico Lewis's goal in the 47th minute, and then Lando jumps all the way to the 86th minute to give Diaz some stick. The game was over with at that point. I mean, you hate to
What?
give up another goal from the goal differential, but by that point, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, and what we can get to it. Oh, what were you gonna
Oh,
say,
I was
Tom?
just gonna say for that goal, like that, I wasn't worried about like the outcome of the match at that point because it was like, oh, I knew that we had a stranglehold on that match because even the announcer said that like that everything about that goal from Palace was poor, like just allowing Gucci to dice him up on the wings, like the deflection that the ball took, not closing down Rico Lewis, like, and it's like this is 2 minutes after you come out from halftime. So
Mhm.
like tired and switched off should not be a thing. Like you should be switched on and like not necessarily like fully rested, but like rested enough to come into like the match, and it just did not seem like that they were there. So to me, that was like another coward goal. Like we talked about Phil's goal before the first half, or at the end of the first half against Villa as a coward's goal. To me, this goal was also a coward's goal. So you're and like you talk like coaches talk in about the first that middle 10 all of the time. So like winning that middle 10 and getting a goal in that, like I wasn't worried about the outcome of the match at that point.
Green once said, "They are who we thought they were," and there's a reason they're Crystal Palace. Like we don't expect greatness from Crystal Palace. We expect mistakes. We expect a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and then a lot of mistakes. And so to capitalize on that, I believe I pointed out on Twitter, like Rico had an opportunity to shoot in the first half, he didn't take it. And so for him to take the shot, shoot or shoot. You can't score unless you shoot, my boy. And he took it because we've seen him score before. He's done it in Champions League. Like he can score. Youngest player ever to score home and away, I believe, against one side in PL history, at least in City history, maybe in the PL. So like I was happy for him, and yeah, I just wanted to see how many we were going to get after that. Was it going to be 3, 4, or 5?
Yeah. And there were more goals. Grealish to KDB to a cut in Haaland for the third. A few minutes later, KDB to Grealish, who drops a defender, literally slipped, fell, like and one style. Ooh, it was great. Quick release to Rodri, who tees up KDB, who destroyed the ball. Oh my gosh. That goal was like a footy equivalent of an alley-oop in basketball. Which goal between the two, in your opinion, was the sexier goal, and why?
It was the second one because KDB made the entry pass into the box on his own goal. Like think about how like
Low key set himself up.
yes, exactly. So like just the fact that like he basically pulled all of the strings so that he could score on that was just like I made noises. I put it that I made noises.
Football can be erotic. I'm gonna go with the other goal. I'm gonna go with Holland's goal only because that through ball that Jack did
Yeah.
to get it, like the through ball plus the timing of Kev, like that man was barely on side when that ball got released. And then the quick instincts to like slip it back, like only he's making that play. I don't know. It's not like one of 5 players in the world. Like no, only Kevin's gonna make that run, be on side, and see the pass, knowing somebody's coming, aka Thor, is coming for that goal. Like it was just that's a beautiful team goal to me. Those are my favorite goals to watch because it's not about how well you can shoot. It's like doing all the other things. And so literally all you gotta do is finish it. Like that's a City goal to me. So that felt good to see.
I liked the interplay of the second goal, but my note about the Holland goal was shades of offside because I thought they were going to take it off the board. I really did. Um, and I was happy for Holland that they didn't because I think he needs just continue to see, like I've always said, even I said this last year, year before, whatever it was with Alvarez and others, right? They need to see the ball get in the back of the net. He's been getting a lot of stick from folks. Just to see the ball go in the back of the net is good for him. So, and since we don't get the same number of penalty chances that a Chelsea get, he's going to have to score them in the run of play. And so getting that goal was good. So I really liked the Holland goal, but the interplay, like you said, that ball from Jack to Rodri, who just kind of cushions it right into KDB's path. It's just perfect. So loved it.
The cushion off. That's such a beautiful way of putting it because the vision that takes to have that. He's not seeing behind him. He's not seeing where the goal is. He knows his placement and he knows the run that's coming. And it's just a drop. For me, that's just a certain level of pleasantry I have when you have the touch or the presence to just leave it for a teammate like that. I just loved that pass. It's equivalent to an oop, just throwing it up there. Just he's gonna be there. Go ahead, I see it. Go get it. Loved it.
Now, I think to Tarek's point of those two goals, like, yes, the second one was sexier, but I think that the first one was probably more important in that, like, I think that because we need to see, like, I think the announcer said, like, if he would not have scored in that particular match, that would have been his longest scoring drought for club and country in 3 years. So, like, just again, having him see the ball go into the back of the net, I think that was really, really important.
Let's go. Okay. So the first 25 minutes of the second half was City at their best. Sure, you would love the team to play amazing football for 90 minutes. Technically, City only needed 45 to dismantle Real Madrid last season and then manage the next 45 minutes. City gave up a silly goal at the end of the match after Rodri and Alvarez were taken off for Kovacic and Nunes. Pep says, as long as we get more chances than the opponent, everything is fine. But is it though? It's just like City's inconsistency and inefficiency really tends to worry me. But I'll just put a little pin in that. There's no need to dig deep in it because we have a couple of games that we need to preview. But I have Pep on Rodri.
Rodri is the best. This position is the best. So he can do everything, and the quality that he reads the game, his mentality, he's always ready, and Rodri is a top. What can I say? But not because we don't have enough players. Another team don't have a player like him, so he's so good. Rodri is so good in many things, and this type of level, that level. But we have alternatives, of course, and other options that we can do. But the presence, the physicality, everything is a complete. It's a young player, so it's an incredible sign for Man City what they have done.
Pep is so crazy. He's amazing. He's fantastic. He's a one of one. I mean, we have alternatives, but his physicality, his vision, just like, God damn it, Pep. Oh,
He's the
man.
manager. He has to say that. The reality
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, once he went off, and then it was Kova. I think Kova and Rico kind of playing in that spot. There was a noticeable drop off in our ability to keep the ball. And that, I think that coincided with, like, I made a note that Crystal Palace really kind of cranked up their pressure around that 80th minute. Watching it, you could see like them hunting kind of in packs, and it was like they're coming for us. And without Rodri, we struggled to keep the ball, and that eventually led to the Crystal Palace goal, which I felt had been coming for 4 or 5 minutes before we actually buckled. But because I think Akanji had a giveaway that almost led to a goal, but I think Diaz got a block or a little bit on it, and then maybe Stones cleared it off the line between the two of them. But that second goal was coming, but I think it, in my opinion at least, coincided with Rodri going off and us losing that control in the midfield. So
I'm not. Yes, and I'm not sure how much of that is to us taking off Rodri or them bringing on Elise, because like they did bring on a lot of subs. Like
When did he
right,
come on? I'm gonna tell you right now.
he was
Actually,
like right after we brought Kova on. So
he literally 74th minute, both of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think that like Glasner made good changes too. At the right time that Pep did. So I don't like. Yes, like we're always a different club when Rodri is not on the pitch for us, and like they did definitely bring on players that had fresh legs so that they could hunt in packs, and against players that might not have been fully into the rhythm of the match.
Great 2-0 win, boys. That's what I saw. I saw a 2-0 win. All that matters.
Facts, I love that. Before I get into this Champions League, Pep answered the conversation that people keep having. Which is better, PL, CL?
The domestic trophy, the important one, the Premier League or the Liga, that is. I'm not going to say the Champions League is not nice. Of course it is. So now we have it and we know what does it mean in our soul and our peace, for the fact we got it. But it's just the analysis because it's more difficult. There are more games. It's, every week, 2-3 games. It's every week. And Champions League, of course, is important, but depends more for something maybe you cannot control, no? Both are incredibly important, but the Premier League is prove a lot. It means the mentality of the teams, they'll be there all the time for many, many years. For me personally, from maybe my education at home or whatever, it's to be every day you have to do the best. So that means a lot to us, to me personally.
Shout out to Nap. He will be our guest for our match preview series, Breaking Bread, for the listeners tonight, Monday, April 8th, at 8 p.m. Central. Stop on by for a wonderful conversation and learn more about City's upcoming opponents. But onwards and forwards to Real Madrid, first leg against Los Negros in Blanco. Madrid sitting comfortably in the La Liga throne. 8-point lead on Barca, 10 on Girona. But really, a 2-1 aggregate win against RB Leipzig. That isn't impressive. Sorry, not sorry. City aren't at their best, but you can easily say the same thing about Real Madrid. Thoughts, feelings, concerns about the first leg at Real Madrid? Sharpie, I want to start with you first.
No, we've seen the things that came out right when the draw happened. Real Madrid have 4 players that if they get a yellow, they miss the second match. I believe it's Bellingham, Tchouameni, Vinny, and Camavinga. So 4 of the Negros. And so I think that's gonna be interesting to see, right? If Jude gets a yellow because he's chasing shadows, we know he's not coming to the Etihad. Like any of those players leave, and it makes a hole. Tchouameni, people don't talk about him a lot, but he has the legs that Cruz doesn't. So you take him out. He's also played some center back for them this year. I'm not sure of their injury situation. I think they have Nacho and Rudiger back, so they'll be ready there. But they all matter. I think as far as the matchup goes, I think we are playing really well right now. You don't score 8 goals in 2 Premier League matches and not be playing well. We're right, and like you all said, if Rodri stays on, we probably don't give up another goal. But we got bigger fish to fry. We'll sacrifice 1 goal there, so he's fully ready for Madrid. Where
Don't
we
say
have
that.
one, Kevin's one there. What?
The bigger fish to fry. That didn't really work out very well for Arsenal last year. I just don't want to be associated with them.
And that is
That was their little. Oh, well, we went out of the cup, but we got bigger fish to fry, and then they ended up losing anyway. So it
Oh
didn't matter.
no! I'm saying it's like a single goal
Yeah,
for
I know
one
what
is
you
way
meant, but
different than
I
them.
knew what you meant. But I was
Yeah.
just
I see
saying,
what you mean.
just
Okay.
I don't want to be associated with anything that they've done.
Touche.
Okay, Charlie. So
Yeah. Good point.
do you think that I think we've seen already that they are a very Madrid is a very different team when they play that midfield of Bellingham, Tchouameni, and Camavinga based off of yellow card accumulation. Like, do we see because if they start Modric and Cruz, like that's food. Like we're gonna win like 3-1. Like that's but
That's paella, bro. We're in Spain. Get it
right.
right. That's
Yes,
paella, bro.
yes, yes.
That's more than food, bro. For you Spaniards listening, that's paella. Get it right. Tom said it. If we see Modric, if we say Cruz, comida, bro. We're eating, bro.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. But I feel like if we see the balance of like the midfield that probably Ancelotti would prefer, like, I mean, it's probably like a 2-2 draw.
Boys, he's starting Jude in the false nine. I'm here to break
Yeah.
news for you. He's putting Jude in the false nine.
That's what he plays with diamond. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jude's at the top of the diamond. I really think this way. I think the thing that works against Real Madrid is that they play in La Liga, where they don't play as intense competition as City does. City is ready, and you can't take a match off. Like if you watch certain Real Madrid matches, they will not turn up to like the 60th minute and go, okay, we're trying to win. And they don't get pressed hard by a lot of teams. Like they don't press at all, if any time. Like it's very selective pressing from Carlo. Like it's much more vibes, and we saw what vibes got them last year. And honestly, it was like Juju that got them the Karim Benzema comeback 2 years ago. So like they are not better than us. So I think we win. I think we go in there. It's not gonna be a blowout, but I think we get a win and we go back to Etihad saying, okay, now let's win at home. So that's how I got it. What you got, Tarek? What you thinking, bro?
Fire me up, boy.
That's why I went with them first. I know how he feels about them and their lack of pressing and everything. So let's get started with the Tarek. I feel like you might be the cool to Sharpie's fire.
So I initially started out with 3-2 us, but I feel like that's too many goals. And if we just come out of here with the draw, we'll be fine. So I wrote down a 2-2 draw. So I don't know if that's the ice is fire. I don't know.
2-2 draw. That's what I assume is a draw. That was kind of the thing last year.
Yeah,
Go.
and that's kind of why I went with it. I mean, I think
Uh-huh.
that I believe that we can and probably maybe even should win. Maybe that's saying too much, but I think we'll win. But it's like, we have a mistake in us. They can be, they're Real Madrid. So
Yeah.
I gave them the benefit of the doubt at home and said, okay, it'll be a 2-2 draw.
But in the structure of this competition with playing 2 legs, like, and away goals do not matter, like, drawing at home is essentially a loss. Like,
Right.
like, it's like, and the fact that, like, we get to go, we're coming home to our place to play the second leg, so we know what's, if anything needs to be made up. Yes, I still have a 2-2 draw on the books, but I still think that that's a win for City. Like, that's probably a great result.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And then that's why I said 2-2. We'll be perfectly happy with that because I know we'll go home and we'll
Exactly.
wrap it up.
I could make a strong argument that Madrid is our second home. Boys, we're quite comfy there. We're used to this trip. We know the hotel. We go to the same restaurant. The paella's still fresh. We like it in certain places there, bro. We are very comfortable going into this Madrid scenery and comfortable with Los Toros. They're called Los Blancos. They're called Galacticos. I call them Los Viejos, those old boys. They're old, man. They got a keeper in there that they're proud of, but at the same time, they went out and loaned Kepa. Okay, we all know the problems that Kepa brings into your goalkeeping meetings when you got a guy like that coming in. I'm very, very tropi and tranqui going into Madrid. I'm very tropical and I'm very tranquil right now. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be nice weather. We're gonna be very, very calma. We're fine until we start talking about Kevin De Bruyne starting. So now I ask, is Kevin De Bruyne starting?
No.
Hold on. Yes.
Oh yes. Hell yes.
But-
And
but-
Foden will start.
Yeah. Yes.
Both of them? They will start?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And Bernardo and Jack and Holland and Rodri, and then pick 4 defenders. Yeah.
So you're thinking Foden starts out wide, not them both through the middle. Or are you saying
No, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Bernardo plays the wing like he
Bernardo's
did
on the
last
right.
year,
Mhm.
and you put the 2 8s,
Gotcha.
47 and 17, and you
Holy
move
shit.
somebody up.
Because he can lead that press.
Yeah, like I think the only thing is that they do have pace on the back end, right? So you could set up in the classic 4-2-3-1, if you want, and then that moves out him. But like we have the ball more than match, so the 60% of the time we're gonna have possession. We know that at least 60%.
You
Unless
don't think
Real
he
Madrid just
goes
started
with
running sprints.
you don't think he goes with Kova to kind of
No, God, I hope not.
keep possession a little bit,
I hope
make
not.
sure it stays calm at least through the first 60 minutes?
You're probably right. I know what I want. I'm sorry. I'm saying what I want. Pep is going to
Oh
make it
yeah,
happen.
no, that's
And
yeah for
honestly,
sure.
yeah,
Something totally
we don't know
different.
Kyle Walker's health. I think Kyle Walker's health is going to be paramount because that's a whole different game plan for Vinny. If Kyle Walker's out there
Mhm.
and fit versus if he's not. And so you got to be more conservative given Akanji support. So yeah, then if Akanji, then you might need Bernardo to come back like he played basically left back. You might need him to be like a right wing back.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's gonna be tough, but like I want to see it more than anything, and I think they have the ability to be so creative that it negates any defensive lapses, right? Like you got to score goals to win, and like you said, away goals don't hurt; they don't matter anymore. So it's like if we get a lead and we can go back to that Etihad up one goal. That's what we did. That's huge, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the vision. Even if you get a draw, it's great. Like so, like I say go for the goals. And I think it just keeps away any drama because let's be real, it's like if you were playing basketball and you were like, "Oh, LeBron James, he's 85%. I don't know if we're gonna start him tonight." Like, no, you start Bron. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, you start Kev and you figure this shit out later. Like, you can take them off if we need some defensive solidity, but put something out there. Let them give you 65, 70 minutes and see what happens.
I've gone down the chain of logic here, deductive reasoning. Phil Foden has to start because he's too electric. Kevin De Bruyne has to start because Kevin De Bruyne will fight Joseph if he doesn't start. Bernardo must start because it's Bernardo in the midfield and we know what he brings and the calm and the stability. Jack Grealish is the one who's out for me. I think Phil goes to left wing. I think Bernardo's right wing. I think Kevin stays up top with Erling. And I think we do get a Matteo and Rodri type of midfield.
I don't really know who he's gonna put out there. All I know is we're winning 3-1. We're going in there and we're terrifying them. And the Premier League's gonna be terrified and all media is gonna be hating, and I'm looking forward to it. Back to the Premier League, though. We're welcoming my buddies Luton Town to the Etihad. Hey, friends! After Luton Town's exit from the FA Cup by Man City, Luton Town, honestly, they've appeared to level up. Sure, their recent record isn't the best, but how they played on the pitch with courage, playing their football. Lots of close games. Arsenal only put 2 on them at home.
Put some
Could it be?
put some respect on their name. They just won their first match since January.
Exactly. So could it be Luton Town who destroys our dreams? Tom Bomb?
Absolutely not. um, no, that's not happening. Even though Oscar Bob is going to start this match, even though Julian Alvarez is going to start this match up top, even though Sergio Gomez is going to start this match.
Oh.
Hell, we might even get a Scott Carson start. I don't know. It depends on.
We're getting spicy.
I don't know what Ederson's availability looks like, but I do know that we're going to win this match. Like it'll probably if we start the players that are lower on the bench, it'll probably be just like a 2-1 win. But like if we start our heavy hitters, like we'll probably see a 4-5-1 win. Again, we don't do clean sheets around here, so don't ask for it.
Yeah, Chong will score against us.
Right.
Hey, Luton's in a fight. They are level on points to Nottingham Forest to get out of relegation station. They just have the 4 goals worse goal differential. But shouts to Rob Edwards. I think we smacked them hoes. 3-0. Like, what are we talking about? They're losing. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't care who
I
we
like
play.
how both Tom Bomb and Sharpie. Tom says put some respect on the name, and then goes
No.
and then Sharpie goes, "Hey, they're about to get out of relegation with non-enforced, but we're about to beat them down." It's just
No,
like, wait, what are you guys doing?
no, you didn't do it
Both
justice.
things are true at the same
Yes,
time. Both things can be
exactly.
true. You can be fighting hard and not be able to beat us at the Etihad.
Yeah, that's all
3-1.
I'm
I'll give
saying.
you a goal. 3-1.
He says, "Shout out Edwards." We're slapping them both. Like, shout out, but I'm beating that ass. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'm not entertaining it. Shout out to nobody. I 3-0. It's over.
Ooh, clean sheet. I like that. I like that. I'm with you. I'm gonna do the Sharpie clean sheet. 3-0 by means of a 4-1 win.
It is a Sharpie clean sheet. Let's go.
Everybody knows the math. The math is mathing now. Let's go. We all learn how to subtract it. We learn how to subtract this year. I'm proud of y'all. Let's go.
That is brilliant. The Sharpie clean sheet.
Oh God.
Oh my god. I love that. It will forever be known as the Sharpie clean sheet in my mind now.
All right. Well, I mean,
Hold on. 2-0. 2-0 City.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that. There's no need to do shakals and applause, but I do want to say, thank you, United.
Nope,
I didn't
not doing
whisper it
that.
out.
Not doing that. What I
I
am,
whispered it.
but
I
nope,
whispered
no,
it.
but what I am gonna
whispered
do
it.
is the
Whispered it.
the best 45 minutes of Premier League football this weekend was for certain that Aston Villa Brentford match. Holy shit! Like just wow, just wow.
Thank you, Darwin Nunez. That's all I want to say. Thank you, Darwin, because I watched the whole match and you were trash, my boy. I appreciate you not knowing when to pass, not knowing how to shoot. Thank you so much for your ineptitude. You made it interesting for us. Appreciate you.
Let's go.
I'm gonna take it off the pitch and say shout out to Coach Don Staley, South
Yes.
Carolina women completing their undefeated 38-0 season, winning the national championship game earlier today over Crunk's Iowa and their star, the one of the brightest lights,
VCs.
one of the brightest lights as far as a young player in women's basketball right now, in Caitlin Clark. So
Shouldn't have
kudos
28. I'm sorry.
kudos for
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. My
Coach
fault.
Don for building a squad, building a program that is consistently great. She's an amazing coach. I love her,
Was a
and
rebuild year.
it is what it is.
This was her rebuild year, and she went undefeated.
Lost all 5 starters from last year.
Graduated them.
Yeah. Well,
She loses one starter. This is one player.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she loses one player this year. That's insane, bro. It's scary. It's what Gino did. It's what Pat did. She's the
Yes.
modern day. She's
Yes.
her.
Yes.
Like the factory is moving.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful game.
She's
Proud of her.
the modern day Pat Summitt, and I love it because Pat Summitt was
Mhm.
the coach that I started watching as far as
Mhm.
women's basketball,
Mhm.
and
Maple
I
Hole
can
Star,
see
my
that in Don. I love Don, and so I'm always going to ride with them. So kudos to them.
1,000%. That's all we got for episode 96. Shout out to the most dope shows we got for you Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know what we got going on. Just weekend games, just one. Yeah, just one.
Just one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So come through. All links below with all the links to all that stuff. We'll be posting it on our social media. So if you follow us, also we had an @ change because we have
Tell me more about that.
because we have thank you. We have your favorite wrestling podcast that has joined, and we will be slowly premiering more and more podcasts in the next few months. So we have made the adjustment, and it's actually the same handle on every app that we are on now. So we have full continuity. It's not Shades of Blue Pod on one and Shades of Blue US on the other. On all of them, it is Shades of Blue NW. Shades of Blue NW for Shades of Blue Network. Let's go.
Let's go.
My show bros, please plug yourselves. Let listeners know where they can find you and the things that you're up to.
You gonna do Sharpie's idea, or we gonna skip it?
Let's just say an album when you
Oh
say your
yes.
handle. I think that's one way to do it. Yeah, let's say
Yeah.
one album. I'm gonna go first.
Uh-huh.
Sharpie Charlie on Twitter, and my pinnacle album from 1996, as this being our 96th episode, none other than Jay-Z's debut, Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, man. That's a tough
Great
one.
choice. Great choice.
Yeah.
Great choice. If there's a social media platform and I use it, you can find me at TomBomb816. And I'm gonna go with a sophomore album, and I'm gonna say Aaliyah's "One in a Million."
That's a good one.
My list is getting lower and lower. God.
Well, I know what T. Go ahead because I know what you're gonna say.
Right.
Yeah, well, so you already know.
So, as far as social media handle, at Tarek Peterson, of course, I'm a rock with Nas, his sophomore album. It was written specifically just love. Just go listen to I Gave You Power. It's just incredible. But I'm also a church boy. So 96 came out with a group called In a Standard. So I'll give them props too.
At Shades of Blue NW, we got some continuity in our links. Holla at us there. I am going last. Process of Elimination. All the albums were fucking great. I'm pissed that you guys took. All three were on my list. I wasn't gonna pick Aaliyah's. She was actually fifth on my list. But I'm gonna give you my number 4 since the other ones were taken. 1996, the Fugees dropped The Score.
I almost just jumped in to take it off the table just so you'd have to find
Wait,
something else.
wait, because people are gonna kill us and be like, "Crunk, is this on your list? Please tell me it is."
Outcast AT Aliens.
Okay,
Gotta
that's a
be,
good.
gotta be on there.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one because it was on my list.
Yeah, it was really tough because there's Lil Kim, Snoop Dogg dropped Dogfather, Foxy Brown dropped an amazing album that year, UGK, like it was fucking Redman, he dropped his album, this was a real crazy year. Keith Murray dropped, this was really fun, just like scrolling through all
Nobody
that stuff.
had the Don Illuminati 7-Day Theory on theirs.
No,
I mean,
I saw it and I thought about it, but I was like, no.
I'm not a pop guy. Sorry, doesn't do it for me.
Nobody said All Eyes on Me.
No, I was definitely
yes, and nobody said All Eyes on Me either.
I didn't put that many albums down. Nas was on my thing. I knew people were gonna say Jay, so I didn't say that. But I had the Fugees written down. I was gonna put Pac on here, but I figured somebody else would say it, so I didn't put it on there.
That's why I was like,
Iron Man. I didn't even know he dropped Iron Man in 96.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, no, there were some bangers in that. Yeah,
Ready
this is
for
great.
97 next week. We got a whole
Yeah,
week
I
to get
know.
ready
I'm
for it.
excited now. Oh man. Well, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.